Hey there, friendlies. Welcome to the, what are we? The 23rd? Yes, the 23rd of February episode of the the Beer Blades and Bushcraft live stream. I've got a slightly different setup for the studio tonight. Excuse me, and I'm hoping that it sounds and looks good. I was going to put up some lights, but getting the baby to bed took up a little more time than I thought it would, and it's okay. I am also not sure how long I can do this tonight because I am really tired. The squeaklet got me up at 5:45 this morning, and I had quite a late night last night, so I'm a little tired. But that's okay. Because we're among friends here, am I right? I'm right. I do want to say before we go any further, I guess would be more grammatically correct, that if you are in fact watching us time shifted to tomorrow or next week or something, thank you. I appreciate you massively. And I know that when you can't partake in the live conversation, sometimes it's not quite as interesting, but I know that there are at least two of you who watch this whole thing after the fact, and I massively appreciate that. You guys know who you are, and I think you're both great people. Hey, Thorhaven, how's it going? Shawnee says, it's not really a new space. What it is a new desk, 2 new monitors, and a new arm for my mic. It's weird because I have a better mic than this, and when I was setting it up at the weekend, I replaced this mic. This is a Behringer. It's a fairly affordable mic, and my other one is a much better mic, but I couldn't get it to sound any good. Like, it's great when I'm plugged into like a music production software and I can mess with the EQ and everything, but this is a real bare bones system I use, right? I plug into a little interface box and into like StreamYard. I'm not doing any sound sweetening. I didn't even have time to set up my lights tonight. Well, I haven't had time to set up my lights in like 8 months. But I thought it would be cool to inaugurate the new setup with my lights and stuff, but no time. So it was really weird. I have the mic in a wooden box right here, and it stayed in the box, and I don't think I'm going to use it. It was a lot more expensive than this mic, but whatevs, right? So who we got here with us tonight? But yeah, so it's a new space. The biggest difference is that it's finally sort of cleaned up back there, and it's cleaned up here, and that room back there, right there, is finally done. So it feels like this is a new space to me. It's exciting to sit here and not be surrounded by crap that's just off screen, Excuse me. As those of you who've been watching me for a long time know, I'm an organizational nightmare. Once everything is organized, then all I have to do is put something back where I got it. I'm fine. But it's the initial organization that's a major problem for me. So just let me say hi to whoever's with us so far. I said hi to Shawnee. It was a good question. Thorhaven, fairly new friend, but interesting guy. He was on the live stream. The first live stream I did for my other channel was on Sunday. And no, you weren't on that one. You were on the last one of these live streams, weren't you? Sorry, I got two live streams there mixed up. 2 channels and 2 live streams mixed up. But anyways, Thorhaven's an interesting guy. It was nice to have you on. You can be on again tonight if you want, because I don't have anything specific planned. I do have something specific planned coming up in a couple of weeks, though. Serge is with us. Hey, man, it is good to see your name in that side chat. I'm thinking about you a lot these days. I'm glad we had a chance to catch up a few days ago. Excuse me. Oh. Yeah, Thorhaven dropped me a note. Did you drop a comment in the other live stream or something saying that you got a new mic? It didn't sound that bad, but a new mic is always exciting. One day I'm going to swap this baby out for that the SM7B that up north of 60 uses, because I've wanted that mic for years now. Hey, it's a better night when Robin's in the side chat. Nice to see you, man. Who else do we got here? Everyone who hasn't said hi to Shawnee, say hi, by the way. Dale's here. How's it going? Nice to see you. Yeah, so sorry. I was saying before, when there were only two people on, that I don't know how long I can do this tonight. I'm very tired. The squeaklet got me up at 5:45 this morning. Had quite a late night last night. Excuse me. And I'm the one. I was the only one who could. I was the only one that the baby saw, because my wife and Camille, the occasional co-host of this channel, they were both in isolation. Thankfully, my wife is no longer in isolation, but Camille still is, because the COVID introduced itself to someone in her class. And so, yeah, that's where we are right now. This is what I got tonight. I have a Tire-toi une bûche, pull up a stump. This is I think it's a maple barley wine, so I'm not sure if I'm going to like it. Yes, vin d'orge à l'érable. Yeah, maple barley wine. So it's probably crumbs. It's 9%. 9%. Tire-toi une bûche. All right, let's see if I can do the pour without buggering it. Oh, man, I buggered. Well, I got some all over my brand new desk, but that's okay. Here. How am I doing here, guys? Oh, not bad. All right. Maple barley wine. I'm not really big on barley wines, to be straight with you. I can smell it already. I don't know, guys. It smells harsh. Oh. Yeah, that's a barley one. All right. Thorhaven, are you good with barley wines? Wow. I've just never found one to like. I just never have. I'll try to drink it, but I don't know. I have this just in case. This actually did show up on the live stream I did on Sunday. Yeah, it was a whiskey tasting. We did this and Glengoyne 10. The Glengoyne was much better. This is a 40% whiskey. So I have this. I'm putting this on the when company comes over shelf. But because for some reason when I'm on screen, I go through whiskey a lot faster than I do regularly. This is the one I'll move to when I give up on this barley wine. Well, Thor, if you like barley wines, fine. I also find that in this province, man, they maple a crap out of everything. This province makes so many different kinds of maple whiskey, maple blah, 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 blah. It's like, ugh, no, I don't have the patience for it. I don't have the patience for most Canadian whiskey anyway, but sounds to me like Thor is a man after my own heart. I stick mostly to stouts when drinking beer. So, who the heck do we have here? Hey, look who it is. How's it going, mister? How's it going? I don't know if anyone wants to get on and chat about anything. I had an interesting Mal isn't going to be on for at least the first hour. She's a guest on a prepping live stream tonight, which I will not be able to see since I'm doing this one. I tried to watch Dennis's the Canoe Hound Adventures show tonight, and I watched some of it, but then I got involved in putting the squirtlet to bed, so I missed the rest of it. But I had this thought popped into my head while I was chatting with Mallory, because she's a homesteading channel. I'm a bushcraft channel, and she's a guest on a prepping channel. And I would like to see the stats on how many prepping channels there are versus homestead channels versus bushcraft channels, because I am pretty damn certain that there are a lot more preppers making videos than there are bushcrafters. And I kind of feel that the homesteaders are probably the smallest group, just because you kind of need to have land. Whereas to be a prepper or a bushcrafter, you just need to get to land. You know what I'm saying? So I wonder what the stats are on how many. There was your thumbnail there, right? Click. Ugh, yikes. Nope. Cliff says, got a lot of yard work done. Nice. Whoops. Robin says he's developed a surprising love affair with milkshake IPAs. Man, I can do a milk stout, but there was a milkshake IPA I tried a few summers ago, and I couldn't get with it. But I can see where the appeal is if you're someone who likes IPAs. Jonathan, the whiskey tasting was a good watch. I'll keep an eye out for those bottles. Hey, yeah, that's true. A couple of people who are regulars here showed up on the other live stream, and I think that was a good time. I'm going to do that again. I'll see who I can get to come on. Maybe we'll kick the price of the bottles up to something a little closer to $100 or something. Is Mark here? Oh yeah, Mark Putin's is here. How's it going? So yeah, like sometimes I wonder about stuff like that, because preppers and bushcrafters are in a tertiary way related, but not in a direct way. But there are a lot of channels out there who do both prepping and bushcrafting. There are a lot of product creators who service both of those communities. But, a prepping channel is very different to a bushcraft channel. And I've talked about this before, how, survival is camping by mistake, prepping is preparing for the end of days kind of thing. Bushcraft is, camping as an excuse to pretend that you're a caveman. In some ways, I'm simplifying massively here. In that everything I do as a bushcrafter, I do for the enjoyment of the outdoors. Whereas if I was prepping for, the government's going to drop the ball, or there's going to be a tyranny, or there's blah, 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 like all the things that preppers, like, the checklist, none of that's any fun, and survival guys, Les Stroud and all that. That's not fun. That's the shift has hit the fan and you got to get out of the forest kind of thing. So while all these channels are very related in certain ways, they're different enough that I really would be interested to see those statistics. There are X number of prepper channels, X number of survivalist channels, I guess, X number of homesteaders, X number of bushcrafters. And I'm damn sure that there aren't nearly as many bushcrafters as there are preppers or survivalists. Shawnee says, made fire starters with the kids over the weekend and used them in the backyard. I miss our weekly fires. That is a good time. I think the last video I put up for this channel, I was trying to make fire starters, and it wasn't an abject failure, but it wasn't a big success either. I have to work on that a little bit. Some people gave me some good tips in the comments below that one to try for next time. Because here's the thing. If I do something and it fails miserably, I make sure it goes on screen. I have learned so much since 2013 when I started this channel. I have learned so much by putting my mistakes online that it's not only kind of hilarious to watch, but it's also very useful for me. And it feeds into my philosophy of, don't ever pretend to be an expert. And don't just say, I'm not an expert, and then go and do something and kind of make a how-to video, So yeah, the video I put up last week was kind of hilarious to edit. But yeah, I keep trying to come up with, like, I had some fire starters that are the cotton balls covered in wax or blah blah blah. But like, whenever it's something that is doused in wax, when I break it open, I have a hard time fluffing it up with my knife enough to catch. So I'm looking for ways to get around that, which is what I tried to do with these fire starters, which I got to go back to the drawing board. Thor says, I would think there'd be more bushcrafters than homesteaders, but I think the homestead side is growing. The only reason why I'm sure that there are way fewer homesteaders is because you need to own land. And I don't know a lot of people who own enough land to really homestead on. I think that the homesteading is growing. I saw a statistic that due to COVID, young people are moving off the island of Montreal and like out into the sticks. And I'm wondering how that is going to, like, I wonder how many of them are going into the homesteading thing. How many people are having their personal philosophies affected by what's going on right now, and how that might be increasing philosophies of self-reliance and, the things that feed into homesteaders. Jonathan Millie says, I think a Bricklatic Port Charlotte 10 might be my next purchase. I am dying to make that purchase. Absolutely dying. I'm going to pick one up this year. They're a little hard to find here in Montreal, and they're a little pricey, but yeah, I'm dying to try that. Thor says, 3 different groups of people with a bunch of crossover, and that I absolutely agree with. That there's a lot of crossover. There's a lot of crossover in skills. There's a lot of homesteaders are a little more of a wild card, but there's still a lot of the same skills there. There's a sense of self-reliance. There's an ability to chop wood, take down a tree, process that tree into wood. There's an ability to be closer to the land and make it work for you. Which, and by the way, in preppers, that's not where the overlap necessarily is, right? In preppers, the overlap is being able to make a fire without matches, being able to find something to eat in the woods. If you're the type who's like, I'm prepping, but I'm hitting the sticks. If you're someone for whom bugging out is actually bugging in, or you're much more of an urban prepper, then there's a different set of skills that come into play there as well. But there's still a sense of self-reliance. There's still a sense of being able to live off of what you find on the land, whether you're in the woods or suburbia, like a burnt out shell of a suburbia, or the toasted ruin of a city, or all the sort of the prepper fantasy scenarios, right? I mean, I know all that stuff. I've played it. I've played Fallout. I know how to do it. Hike with Mike is in the house. How's it going, Hike? Yeah, and what Cliff says is survival prepping and homesteading sort of all go hand in hand. I think to a certain extent that's true. In some ways, well, and that's what I'm saying. Like in the Venn diagram of like homesteaders, preppers / survivalists, but they're not quite the same. Bushcrafters, like it's not an even Venn diagram, and which of these circles is more related to the other depends on what aspect you're talking about. I find stuff like this fascinating. This is why I'm no fun at parties. Dale, yeah, that's why I do my damnedest to not get political on this channel. Every now and again, I kind of mess up, but I really, really try because I'm not interested. And I don't think that you guys are interested in my politics any more than I'm interested in any of yours. I think an excellent way to lose a friend right now, today, is to say something political, realize that you're both on opposite ends of the spectrum, and one of you gets all personal about it. I don't care. I don't want to know. And I'm not going to espouse my views. But I am planning to found a communist utopia somewhere in the Midwest. Right? Just kidding. But yeah, so that's like whenever I'm watching a prepper channel or whatever, and they get all political, I just click, forget about it. And, oh yeah, and I'm not one of these guys who's like, this is stupid, I'm unsubbing. If I don't want to sub to anyone anymore, I just unsub. Just don't drop a bomb on your way out the door. Just unsub. It's not about hurting that person. It's about just not dealing with the crap that they're spewing. Boom. What's this? Jonathan says, my problem with prepping channels, they have to be extreme to get an audience opportunity for moderate prepping channels where you prep for snowstorms, paychecks instead of... Well, the thing is, man, I agree, but I think that this is where, as close as I can doing political is, I have spoken way too much about this, but YouTube pisses me off. And this is a perfect example of that. Sorry, guys. Is that you're not going to get an audience if you're prepping for realistic scenarios like, oh, there was a 3-day blizzard and I can't get down my driveway, right? But there is an audience for, listen, if the zombies come down that road, I got 4 ARs locked and loaded at the front door. That's what drives eyes. You know, I have a cache somewhere. Let's face it, half of these guys are mispronouncing it as cache. You know, and I know that if I have to get to that cache and feed my family, this is what we're going to do. We got bags. We got bug out bags. We got bug in bags just in case the bug out bags aren't useful because we can't bug out. So we have to bug in. But there's going to be some bug in, damn it. And I just... Whenever I watch that stuff, it's a fantasy. I watch it for entertainment value. I don't internalize anything they say because at the end of the day, it's not where I want to be thinking. To me, bushcrafting is how I get away from the stress of the world. I hit the woods so that I don't have to pay for a therapist. You know what I'm saying? And so by interfacing with all these ideas that the world is ending, and I kind of believe it is, to be honest with you, it takes the reason I watch YouTubes or go into the woods and shoot my little videos and subverts it. I don't want to deal with it right now. I want to get away from my stressors right now. I'm gonna watch some Joe Robinette. Gonna watch some, some Ray Mears, you know? I'm going to drop the invite for anyone who wants to come on down there again, just in case anyone's getting bored with listening to me flap my gums. Want to hear someone else? Still a lot of dust down here. My sinuses are still giving me hell, so sorry, guys. If you go by the technical term for homesteader versus okay, it's funny because sometimes I think back to, often I think back to the people who were receiving parcels of land out west, move to the new world. You get blah acres. Build your home, build your farm. Don't get killed by the Sioux. And these guys were homesteading because that's what they did. They weren't homesteading as a way of differentiating themselves from whatever sheeple or whatever the stupid term of the day is right now. You know, if you needed to eat, you had to plant crops and you needed to have animals. If you wanted to have those animals, you had to build fences. If you wanted fences, you had to source wood. If you wanted wood, you had to cut it down. You had to find it. You had to clear forest land. You had to, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like going to build a fence and going to go buy some cow, what do they call it? Cow panels? Cow, you know, that. No, you built everything. Or you went to the, you know, the general store, you know, in whatever was the territorial capital, and or whatever was the largest city nearby, and you know, you could buy shovels and guns and blankets and blah blah blah. That was honest self-reliance because there literally was no choice open to the people who were taking these parcels of land. They needed to make their own way. Sometimes they needed to defend themselves. And like, can you imagine how fully you live the moment? Like, not on purpose. I mean, they weren't thinking live every moment to its fullest the way, you know, some yoga teacher will tell you to do these days. By default, every day was big. In fact, every day was so big that they wouldn't have even thought of it that way. It's just when you think of the difference between, okay, well, you know, the fence broke and the cows got out, and oh my land, we better get them, versus I'm sitting in my cubicle. Nobody's sitting in a cubicle right now, but you know, versus people sitting in their cubes or whatever, and oh, I have to write 30 emails today. And I think about this so much, and I've mentioned this so much, and if I'm boring you guys, just say in the side chat, shut up, Jesse. But I keep thinking about how if you take a half millennium off of today's date, or a millennium, or 400 years, and you know, this works best if you go all the way back to the medieval times, right? And it's a little farm somewhere in England or France or whatever, and literally everything was DIY. And that your bog standard farm boy was so much stronger than your bog standard anyone today. Just by default. Just having a normal day. You get up early, you work your arse off. There's no tractors. There's you, there's a couple of cows, and there's whatever plow you've built. You're building, you know, cow sheds out of wattle and daub, which, by the way, is mud, hay, and cow crap. You know, food was made. You know, you didn't buy A&W on the way home from work. You slaughtered a pig and you made meals out of it. And at the end of the day, when it was getting dark out and you'd had your, you know, your ale, you just fell asleep. In some ways, much smaller lives than we lead today. No one was doing what I'm doing right now, right? Because, you know, with 2,500 subs, I'm internet famous, right? But seriously, like nobody was thinking beyond the day-to-day stuff of keeping a farm going, a subsistence farm, or they might have been getting enough wheat to pay their you know, whatever. But day-to-day life was smaller in scope, but way heavier in energy. I think about stuff like this all the time. The weight of years between that farm and today is everything. Entire systems broke down and were rebuilt in different ways to get to where we are today. Commerce has taken the place of hard work. I feel like I'm getting preachy, so I'll move on. But hey, look who's here. Serge.
Hello.
How's it going?
I'm doing okay. You?
I'm all right. Are you saving everyone from my boring stories? Is that what's going on here?
No, no. I just figured, since the last few weeks I've been up in Rivière-du-Loup, I was there's the French coming in there.
Yeah, ben
Uh,
là,
ben là,
ben
I
là.
figured, I'd share.
Yeah, I want to know all about it. I do want to also point out can you see on the screen what Cliff has just said? By all accounts, you really only need a quarter of an acre to grow enough food for 4 people. Keep in mind that's the size of the land you need just for the garden space. Okay, so if you're doing like cows or pigs or whatever, you need more. While we're chatting, I'll keep sort of bringing up people's little quotes in the bottom and dealing with them, if you don't mind.
No, of course not.
So you're sitting in
Never.
a gorgeous part of the province.
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm in some freaking uh basement bedroom. Because I'm just renting a room here.
Yeah.
Since I'm not planning to stay here for forever. Mind you, last couple of weeks makes me almost feel like staying here permanently, but that's not realistic.
Right.
So yeah. Anyway, so yeah. So far, I've well, aside from going to class, obviously, because that's the reason why I'm here. But I have gone. I went to the nearby park, which is like within the city limits, if you will, and that's where they have the infamous falls that they have.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of cool because I saw pictures during the summer and stuff, but like I had the luxury of seeing it during the winter, and holy crap, it's really not the same thing.
Is that a
Um,
parc national or is it a municipal park?
I don't know. I think it's considered municipal
Municipal.
part. Yeah.
Okay.
But
I
I could be mistaken though.
Okay. Hike with Mike says you need to know and be familiar with the climate and landscape where you live. Yeah, and that's a good point. I mean, I kind of know the climate where I live because I edited a gardening book, and as part of that, I learned where I live and everything. But if you drop me into Hawaii or the tundra, I'd be flipping through the pages. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Are you getting opportunities to hit the woods up there?
Well, yeah, actually, I have. Actually went. I was gonna go snowshoeing, but there is a considerable amount of people that actually go just walking the trails. So, like, even though they say, yeah, you could bring your snowshoes, bring your skis, it's pretty much tapped down, so you could walk on it. So I'm like, oh,
Okay.
screw it. I didn't wear the snowshoes. Well, that's like here anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a lot of locals that go there, but I was impressed because where they have the falls, the mist of the falls, like right now they closed it down. They're completely diverting it for electricity.
Okay. So for
Um,
guys like you.
for guys like me, that's right. Um, but anyway, while the falls were coming down at the beginning, the mist went up into the cliffs next to the falls, and you have these, like, I don't know, it's what 75 foot, no, yeah, 75 foot, 100 feet. I'm not sure how high. Maybe it's even 150. It's hard to judge at that place. But anyway,
Mhm.
the whole cliff face is just ice.
Right.
There's no rivers. There's no nothing running up there.
Yeah.
It's just the mist from the falls,
Right.
and like I was surprised. I went there and there's like people climbing the stuff.
Right.
I'm like, that is so cool,
Yeah. I want to
And
say hi to IRC, by the way. I'm going to listen to Dennis's entire live stream tomorrow because it seemed really interesting. And I love Kevin, man. I think that guy's great. He's great in private and he's great in public. So I'm going to watch that whole damn thing tomorrow.
yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch it often. Like I'm busy doing other stuff, so
Right.
I got laundry to fold, but I'm like, oh, screw it, I'm gonna go online.
Trust me, I also have lots and lots of laundry to fold. Simon,
Hey guys.
Hey,
Come on
Simone.
Not too bad.
yeah.
Not getting
I'm
crazy, but
right.
yeah, close to.
I like what Grace says here. I'm just trying to catch up with the chat because there's some good comments here that I just beep 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 beep, and I forgot to keep. Cliff says I could sneak up, but after inhaling dust all day, my sinuses are going pear-shaped. That and I'm munching. I would love to be munching. I tell you what, I am hungry. Part I like most about bushcraft channels is the quiet and the communing with nature. Some of my favorite videos are the silent ones where someone works away on what they. Jonathan, interesting because that and Serge and Simon, I know you both watch this channel a lot as well. The thing that first hooked me into the My Self-Reliance channel was that there was no BS until the end of the video. He would spend the whole damn video just working in silence. And because I spent like 5 or 6 years working construction as my summer job, I can see in someone's hands when they've worked with a tape measure rather than when they're a home handyman with a tape measure, right? I can see in the way they hit big honking nails with a hammer. Like there's a way that what's the word for guys who work with their hands? The not craftsmen, but tabarnak. Simon, c'est quoi le mot que je cherche là?
Un artisan.
An artisan?
No, but like carpenters, roofers, those guys.
I got handyman in my head, but it's not a handyman.
No, but there's a way that people who have spent decades building hold stuff, and I saw that and I recognized it. Yeah, maybe craftsman.
Yeah,
but because part of me misses those days of falling into bed after a long, hard day building a freaking house, or doing renos, and just being body exhausted, not mentally exhausted. Because I get mentally exhausted a lot by the job I do, and that's what happens to a lot of people who work in tech. But man, I would fall into bed body exhausted and just drift into sleep, and I miss that feeling. And so when I see someone like Sean James, who very clearly is comfortable with the tools and just the way he was working and saying nothing, and YouTube is all like, be interesting and talk a lot and blah blah blah, and this guy's saying nothing, and his numbers are going up. I was like, this is magical, man.
Yeah, well, I watched. I had time this weekend, so I watched the video he put out. I think it was Friday. Well, I think all his videos always come out on Fridays. The ones where the main ones. Mm-hmm. And basically, he took down a dead tree, and made a door with it. I'm like, that's freaking awesome, man. He hewed it so then he could use the Alaskan chainsaw mill and just cut himself some boards, glue them together, put some hinges. He actually made one of those. I forget what they're called. They're like the double doors, like that there. I forgot.
Oh, I think it's called a Dutchman's door. I don't know if they still call it that. But yeah.
I think it's a Dutchman's door. And I'm like, that's so cool,
Yeah. I do want to mention something Mark Putman's here said to Jonathan Milley, because I was riffing and and meanwhile, Mark made a good suggestion. Water Walker is freely available at the NFB website, and I watch it a lot. It's canoeing rather than bushcrafting, but that's the guy that made the red canoe a solid pillar of Canadiana, and it's a movie that everyone should watch at least once if you're into the outdoors or into paddling. And it's a movie that you should watch all the time if you want something that is visual soul food. I watch that movie the way I watch Ray Mears. Nowadays, I just watch Ray Mears because life has gotten too big and I need soul food. So that movie, I definitely suggest. Water Walker, NFB.ca. It's not geographically locked. You can watch it from anywhere.
Yep. National
And if
Film Board of Canada.
Yeah. And in fact, his daughter, Peggy, she teaches canoeing these days as well.
And
And
Mark
she's
just
an artist.
and Mark Putman's just mentioned that the DVD is available from the NFB.
Yeah, but you can watch it for free. Why
Yeah,
would you
but-
buy a DVD? Like, this computer has no DVD drive or a CD-ROM drive or anything. I just watch everything digitally.
I had to pull out of my stash an old DVD for a niece of my wife because she needed for school.
Okay.
But I mean, I had to dig to find a DVD reader, DVD drive. It was
I got
crazy.
one right here. Hilariously,
Yeah.
USB drive doesn't work on my Windows machine
And you know why?
because tech is stupid.
No. Because Apple locked it.
Tech is stupid.
Yep. And why do I know it? Because I do own one as well.
Yeah. I like what Hike with Mike here said. All the cedar and oaks are sending out all their pollen right now in Florida. Sinus is stuffed up and eyes are all watery and yellow pollen layers on the truck and everything else. That stuff kills me.
Yeah, me too. I'm not looking forward to that. I don't know how the climate's going to be here, but
Serge,
I'm afraid.
You're lucky. You're lucky, man. It's
I
not
know.
that bad where you are.
You really? Okay.
Yeah.
It must be because
lucky.
I'm not that far from the boreal forest, so
It's not
Which
that
is my
bad.
favorite part of the entire world so far. Boreal forest makes me happy. Serge, there's a question directly for you down here. Do you see it at the bottom of the screen from IRC?
I was going to get to that eventually, but I figured I'd let it roll a little bit. No, things are actually going extremely well. A lot of the information that I'm receiving, I either already know or already know the majority of it. On the first day, they started talking with measurements because we have to use the imperial system because that's how it is in construction. I'm like, I was a graphic designer for 15 years. I've been using the imperial system for you don't need to teach me how to use fractions. I've been using them for years.
I'm shite with.
Serge.
with fractions.
It's not that bad.
Serge.
Yeah.
Give them your homework in Picas.
These picas.
I'm not going to be pleased with that.
They might fail you for that.
Yeah, they might fail me for that.
I'm just. Thor is asking where you are.
Yeah, I think someone mentioned.
And Tenenbaum.
Okay,
Rivière du Loup.
For the record, I have lived close to Rivière du Loup for about 10 years. About 10 years ago.
Yeah, you had mentioned you were in the region.
Yep, I was just east of Rivière du Loup for about 10 years. From 2000 to 2010-ish. Yep.
Jonathan says he saw something like that when he spent a winter in St. George, New Brunswick. It was pretty wild how the mist from the falls created huge ice.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. Actually, I don't know if I could share that.
The park that you were mentioning before, Serge, is named the Parc des Chutes.
Yeah, Parc des Chutes, exactly.
And it's a municipal park?
It is.
Yeah.
And there's a small power station at the bottom of the falls.
Yeah, I noticed it myself.
Yeah,
I don't
Serge,
remember
he
if
notices
it's
these things
5
now.
or 12. I think it's now at 12 megawatts.
Hey, if you guys ever want to see an epic power station at the bottom of a of a dam, check out the Hoover Dam, man. Holy epic crap.
Yeah, that'd be something I'd love to see.
Woo! I tell you what. That was never seen anything like that. Jonathan says, yes, my self-reliance is magic. Always fascinating to try and figure out what he's doing before he gives the commentary at the end. See, what I love about his channel is that he takes what YouTube says you should do, flips it on its arse, and it just works for him. Tenenbaum, thank you. Tradesman, that's exactly the word I was looking for. Or journeyman, but I thought that journeyman was a stage.
Yeah, journeyman is more like a stage. Usually you have journeyman for like, usually if you're a apprentice electrician, or plumber, you're an apprentice to a journeyman usually.
Okay.
And then the step above a journeyman is a master, like a master plumber, master electrician. Right. So,
or in French, a compagnon.
Yes, that's the common term here, but most people aren't from Quebec on the channel, I believe.
I know.
Chat, so.
There's a bunch of us on. There's more and more every couple of months.
Hey, officially, I'm a compagnon. I'm an electrician. Officially.
Officially speaking. Unofficially, you're a spy.
I just don't have the license C. I'm a license L.
Which I don't know what that is yet.
Yeah, me neither.
I'll know eventually.
Alarm systems.
Hike with Mike says, I would rather be body exhausted over mental exhausted any day. And so would I. I love falling in bed and like, oh man, I used my muscles today. I may ache tomorrow, but for today, I'm satisfied. Yes, Grace says it's called a Dutch door. Okay. I'd always heard of it as a Dutchman's door, but I'm trying to sort of, Jonathan, man. Jonathan's on fire tonight. Dick Prenicke's videos. Absolutely. And, back then, he was shooting on film, eh? And when I was in film school, I used to shoot on film. So you're packing along a lot of crap. Yep. And obviously, like he just shot everything and then went back and then did the voiceover, and I ensured that my axe was as sharp as it could be, and then I took it down to the waterfront and chopped some wood. Like he had this like real sort of, he was not comfortable talking into a mic.
Yeah, it was very mechanical.
I love that stuff though. I love I'd like to see his cabin one day. I'd like to go. I know it's a tourist trap and everything, but I'd like to see where he lived one day because he is the first bushcrafter that I noticed and like really just glommed onto was Ray Mears. But the second one was Dick Prenicke. And Dick Prenicke's name had been mentioned to me before I ever, looked him up and watched a video. And, I understood that as someone who shot on like Super 8 and then 16 in school, I understood that if he's got that stuff with him and all the stuff to build his cabin and blah, 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 he's got a lot of crap there. And the cool thing about shooting on film, still camera, film camera, whatever, that you don't ever have to appreciate anymore is that you don't know if you got the shot. You don't know if that was in perfect focus. You know nothing until it comes back from development. And so we would shoot an entire day's worth of video of film and be like, we got it. We're fine. We're great. And every now and again, wow, we sure didn't get that role. And then what do you do then? And so I wonder sometimes, because he didn't go to film school, right? He was in the Air Force. Was he Navy or Air Force? Air Force, I think. And then,
I think he was Air Force.
I think he was Air Force, but I don't know.
Right. And then he hit the woods and brought along a camera so that he could shoot and speak stiltingly about his experiences. Holy crap, dude. Holy crap. Because he was getting supply drops by float plane, a couple of times a year? So you're getting rice, you're getting sugar, you're getting flour, but how much film did he receive? Like, did he receive a crate of film? And then did he send the crate of film and just trust that film would get developed? I would love to know the day-to-day of that guy's life.
That's basically how he would do it. That's I'm pretty sure they didn't had any facility to develop that kind of film in this neck of the wood anyway.
Of course not. No way.
And
I'm just taking note of what Hike with Mike just said here. He says, check out the Nibimox YouTube channel. It's mostly quiet as he paddles the waters of Minnesota. I will.
Okay.
I got 2 screens so that I can just do this. It's like you mentioning that. I'm going to drop it on the other, like a window over here. So I'm not digging through windows. And I'm going to check that out later.
Oh, you mean the way I do it here?
Show off.
Actually, I even have my TV back there over here.
Yeah, I saw that.
Well,
It's
you
like
got
that.
your TV, and I'm not there to brag at all, but I now have 5 screens on my setup.
You're not bragging
Yeah, you're not bragging at all.
at all. Now, here's the problem with 2 screens. Where the hell's my mouse? Oh, there it is. Not my mouse, my cursor. This is a good point, Grace, and I'm glad you said it because I was trying to figure out how to work this in without kind of coming across as, pandering. But Hike with Mike does some really nice, really good calming. Hi, Mike, I don't know if you mean to do sort of these really calming videos, but it's good sort of zen out material. But pay attention because he's working hard on his videos, okay? But yeah, some really nice, real sort of like I don't know the word I'm looking for because this was not only terrible, but it was also 9%. But not a lot of talking, not too much sort of zing and action and stuff, but some really nice areas, beautiful parts of Florida. And as a guy who doesn't really think of Florida as anything other than like hurricanes, alligator attacks, and like Florida man news stories, it's important for me to see like the Florida that Hike with Mike shows, and that certain other YouTubers show, because what the media shows us of Florida is kind of terrible. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like hanging chads. It's Florida man eats another man's face off because he's on like bath salts. It's Florida man this, Florida man that, Florida couple talking to God and aliens. So it's like, it's nice to actually have like 1 or 2 Floridians on my YouTube feed who I watch all the time and who show something that Fox or CNN or whatever doesn't show. That there is some absolutely gorgeous land there that isn't wrecked by hotels and beach babes. That, yes, it gets hot and there are bugs and stuff, but there's some pristine freaking wilderness there. And as long as a state has a lot of real good pristine wilderness, that it hasn't completely sold its soul yet. And that, by the way, is true of provinces as well, right? I mean, I'm saying Florida because Hike with Mike is there, and the news is so unkind about Florida. But you can say the same thing about like Ontario or, I don't know, pick a province, right? And that as long as there's there are large tracts of undestroyed wilderness, there's still some hope. There's still some hope, Quebec. There's still some hope.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm just sort of trying to catch up because we are way far behind.
Actually, I wanted to get back for a second on Dick Prinicky. And
Yep.
I think one of the big differences too, also because you're talking about like the film and like having to like possibly reshoot if like it turned out to be crap and stuff.
Yep.
I think one of the big difference with back then and like today is you didn't have to shoot and have a video out every week.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point.
Very
good point.
It was like they do a whole like season, if you will.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like one shot. Like well, that's what I have to do for this week.
Yeah. It's like I'm shooting a video and it'll come out when it's ready. Yeah, absolutely. And Man, I could do a deep dive into filmmaking versus YouTubing, but I'm not going to do it because that's going to bore everyone here. But I have some philosophies, let me tell you. Jonathan did a tour of the Hoover Dam in 2012, very imposing and an impressive structure. It floored me, Jonathan. And as someone who is terrified of heights, it nearly killed my ass. But I shot a video of, I did a 3-episode series, like of vlogs of our trip to the south to
Southwest.
Arizona and Nevada.
Middle of nowhere.
The numbers on those videos are terrible, but everything that I was showing on video was stuff I'd never seen before. And I was fascinated by these areas, and I got to shoot this. And like 4 people watched them. So,
well, I was one of them.
Yeah, I was the other. So we're talking about 2 other
you
people.
guys plus 2 other people watched them. But I needed to capture them, and I don't think I did a very good job, but I needed to capture them because standing at the top of the Hoover Dam and looking down it, there's a fundamental feeling that happens there because it is so huge. And so man against nature, and man beat the crap out of nature. And the Grand Canyon is so awe-inspiring, and it's just like I had to prove to myself 10 years from now that I went there, so I didn't really mind that nobody liked my videos. But it was just like such a great trip for stuff I've never seen. Now when I see something I've never seen, I want to share it with these people.
Well, at least 2.
At least 2 or 3.
Yeah, at least 2. Yeah.
Jonathan got his Mac SuperDrive to work. At least read a disk on your Windows 10 PC. That's interesting because I couldn't get it to work. Here's an interesting comment from Thor. I'm usually body exhausted in summer and mentally exhausted in winter. Huh.
Fair enough.
Thor is a guy I've got to get back on screen because I feel that we only got sort of a hint at how interesting that guy is last time. IRC says, you can speak as much French as you want because I can translate it to Newfie ease by and understand it all. 3 Quebecers on screen, at least a Newfie or 2 in the side chat, and everything is going to be absolutely fine for anyone who is, well, one of those 2 groups. Everyone else is going to be like, what the fuck is going on? Oh.
Demonetized.
Demonetized.
You came close last time, but no, you messed up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Crumbs. I blame it on this. This, by the way, is terrible. I'm done. I'm not finishing it. I'm not loving it. I'm not suggesting it. I'm moving on. I can't get this bottle open.
By the way, Serge, you need to get in Trois Pistoles. There's a microbrewery and a good cheesemaker there.
Cheesemaker.
What's the brewery's name?
Hey, Serge, your brother just showed up. Salut, Alain. How's it going?
Hey, bro.
Yo, what's up, bro?
Oh, that's it. Actually, I have a few of my classmates that they're from Trois Pistoles. So they had mentioned some stuff about it too, which is kind of funny because, like, at one point I started mentioning that I had kids, and people were like thrown back. They're like, "How old are you?" I'm like, how old do you think I am? And one kid was like, 25. I'm like,
yeah.
Yep. Tear in your eye.
I kind of giggle. I'm like, how old are you? And he's like, I'm 18. I'm like, well, just add the 18 to the 25. And then I saw him go like this, like, you're 43? It's like, yeah, I'm 43. It's like, most people were surprised. Most people thought I was like in my 30s.
Yeah, so, obviously.
Clearly, I have the same problem.
That brewery in Trois Pistoles is named the Caveau.
There you go. They're the guys who are talking about that. Yeah. They're like freaking 18, but they know about it.
Crap, Jonathan. Hi. Yeah. The Spreadshirt link isn't supposed to be there anymore because I discontinued the shirts until I'm at like 5,000 subs or something. It just seemed self-important to have the shirts, and paying an accountant to count up like $30 a year of sales just seemed kind of pointless. So I'm thinking of moving from Spreadshirt to what's the other t-shirt printer called that a lot of YouTubers use? Teespring. Yes, I'm thinking of moving to Teespring anyway when I kick it back in. But yeah, so right now the t-shirts are discontinued, which is too bad because this is a pretty nice shirt.
Well,
Let me
that's
just
it.
flex for you guys.
My other one is going to be a classic then.
Classic discontinued.
Yeah.
It's gonna be worth something someday.
Yeah, message retracted.
Message
I do have it
retracted.
too.
You have the message retracted shirt? No. Oh, Grace saw my Hoover Dam video just. So now we know 3 of the 4
3.
people who watched it. I get the feeling that maybe I just watched it twice.
That or maybe Paul. Paul might have watched it.
Maybe Paul. Yeah. Yes, this is what I want to see. Jonathan just subscribed to Hike with Mike. That's good. You're not going to be sorry, Jonathan. Hike says, the one thing I don't like about YouTube is the part where I get so focused on making videos and forget to take photographs. I need to find time to rediscover the magic of photography. Something kind of related to that, and I think I've talked about this with you, Serge, is that sometimes I have to remember to put the damn camera down and look at the trees that are surrounding me. Because I started the video channel. The video channel? What am I, like 80? I started the video channel because I like to be out where those trees is growing, and I'm shooting that video stuff and putting it on that video channel that tube use. I started the YouTube channel sort of, well, 2 things, because I like being in the woods. I wanted to document it for my daughter, who at that point was she 2? Yeah, she was 2. And I had a film degree that I wasn't using, and that was bugging me. But what that means is that sometimes, I think even Serge, like twice while we were out, I sort of said, hey, I'm going to put down the camera for a minute or something like that. And you're like, okay. Because it's easy to get into filmmaker mode and forget why I actually go out there.
Yeah, well, it's something that I noticed too. While we go out there sometimes is the fact that you're like kind of like, I wouldn't say rushing, but you're like, I see you like, okay, go do this,
Action
do
pack.
that, go, yeah, and then it's like you don't take a moment to just like, this is awesome,
Yeah, and so I have to sort of remember, hey, stop, sit down. And fairly often that's what happens when we're done everything and we're sitting back and having our beer and our sandwich or our bacon or our bacon or our bacon
or steak
with bacon
wrapped in bacon. It's a
in
classic,
a plate
though.
full of bacon.
I have a recipe for bannock that
with
for the
bacon?
fat. Well, no, for the fat, it uses bacon fat. So it's obviously written like, obviously you made bacon before you're making your bannock. And I respect that. No, I didn't go down to the power station. We were late in the day and we were getting to the end of their visitor hours. So we just sort of walked along the top and terrified ourselves by looking down.
I'd be inclined to go into the power station, especially now.
Yeah,
it's it would fascinate me in the first place, but especially with all the stuff I'm learning right now, it's just like, it'd be a must.
Yeah. Jonathan says my favorite, and by the way, you definitely want to, because that dam was built so long ago that by default, everything you're seeing is previous generation stuff. right? I mean, they've probably
1930.
modernized the power stations, but
Oh, for sure.
everything there is so like even the damn toilets are still vintage there. Jonathan says, my favorite thing about visiting Quebec is hitting up the fromagerie. Man, cheese is a main mover and shaker in my life. Clearly, because I'm a fat bitch.
And the link that I drop in the comments is the one in Trois Pistoles. That's an awesome one.
I'm not there yet. I'm still sort of
Oh, jeez.
Geez, I think we lost IRC at some point. 11:30 here, and now getting near bedtime. See you next time. Stay safe and keep the social distance apart from your toolkit. The wife and I do. She still rides in the back seat of the car. It's funny because I wasn't expecting that the last bit of that, but because we're having the social distance with Camille right now, like she came down for supper, but had a mask on and. This is tough, guys. This is, like people who are laughing at the COVIDs don't get it. This is tough on us. The fact that Clémence fundamentally does not understand why she can't see her favorite person, who is her sister, or for God's sakes, go into her own bedroom, is tough to deal with. Very tough for her. Tough for us because we can't make her understand. A negative test doesn't mean you're home free. It means you're still sitting there isolated until it's clear that you're not going to develop symptoms until after the incubation period. That's where your 14 days comes from.
Yep.
So as close to being political as I'm going to get is that I wear my mask, I wash my hands, I do everything the damn government asks, even though they seem so bloody clueless sometimes. But if a doctor says to do something, I do it because the people who keep looking for loopholes are the reason why we are still locked down. We still have to be at home after 8 p.m. We still have to. Because every time the government loosens up this much, some bunch of fools take this much and create a super spreader event.
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny that you're mentioning that because that's what's going on here right now, There aren't that many cases in the Rivière-du-Loup, so a lot of people are taking it very lightly. And I mean, the first days I was here because it hadn't been exactly 10 days since I stopped working.
Right.
And I was like surrounded by teenagers who didn't give a crap because I was driving the school buses, right? So, So I was like, to protect the people that I'm going to be living with, who are going to come into my bubble, I'm coming into theirs. I'm going to wear the mask for a couple of days. And I've heard recently about communities in the area which they're like revolting after the school boards, and they're congregating together and saying, "Oh, we're not wearing our masks." And apparently, one of the people that work in the school boards are getting death threats and saying like, "You should quit." And it's like, I'm like, "Holy crap, man! This is insane." And it's the same kind of people that are the QAnon people there.
Yeah, I was going to say, just kneecap these assholes. Dear RCMP, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Dear FBI, because, I'm kidding.
Hashtag demonetize.
Well, he already swore, so, he could rip loose.
Yeah, so, I don't really want to go that far, but hey, Brother Love, come on, man. How long ago was this? How late am I? 10:03. Oh, I'm like 5 minutes late now. I did the math a little while ago to try and see the viability of self-sustaining flour production. Turns out I would only need 1,000 square feet to make 90 loaves, 60 pounds of whole flour. So if I just change that from freedom measurements to Canadian measurements,
2.2 pounds per kilogram.
So
about 25 kilogram.
It's actually doable. I mean, you'd be working a lot. You'd be working hard. But it's doable. Why,
Well-
brother, why did you do that math?
Well, I just realized that I have all the tools to do it.
Do you?
Of course you do.
Of course. Of course, absolutely. I'm dropping the link down below if anyone else wants to jump on for the last
And
50 minutes.
And by the way, Jess,
Yeah.
I found a way to increase my garden and your garden this for the summer without adding any land to our lots.
Hydroponics, dude.
Nope. There's a place that we both have that is totally empty for the whole summer.
What's that?
Your garage
Our
roofs.
The roofs. The
garage roof. It's a flat roof.
Mine's not, but I can still work with that.
Well, if it's not, it is fairly flat. Well, the pitch is low. I mean,
the pitch is low on my roof. Yeah,
it's flat-ish.
Yeah,
just enough.
Brother Love says, I did the math because I found that one of the few things we came to rely on for commercial production was flour, sugar, and salt. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks, Grace. Thanks. You know, it's funny. I want to make something clear. I'm not being a drama queen. My kid is not going to get sick. But my kid really needs a hug right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm someone who is very demonstrative when it comes to love for his children. Always giving them hugs, always, getting down on the ground with them, always showing it to them. And this is the longest I've gone without touching my daughter.
And you're not done.
And we're not done. And it's only been like 2 days.
Yep.
And so I'm not worried about my daughter being taken away by the plague. I'm sad for the fact that she's alone up there in a 2-kid bedroom. And I'm sad that her sister can't see her and can't be in her own bed tonight and has no freaking idea why. I just want to clarify. My kid's not going to go to the hospital. She's not going to be sick. But I'm fundamentally sad about what she's going through right now and the fact that I can't. It's going to be okay. Okay, let's move on right now. So glad my children are grown. I cannot imagine having kids in the house during this mess. That was not moving on. Okay, hold on. Let me. Okay, sorry, I read my own notes wrong. That would produce 40 kilograms. Oh, I see. You're going back to the math. So that's
on 1,000. Basically, on 1,000 square feet lot, you would produce 40 kilograms.
You know what I find interesting? I find I keep going back to maple production because I'm Quebecois and irritating. But the ratio of maple sap to maple syrup is kind of terrifying. It's a 40, right?
Yeah, 40 to 1. Is that it?
40 to 1. Holmes, how the hell did they figure that out? First of all. Second of all, holy crap. No wonder you need so many trees.
Yeah, it's 2.5%.
I'm thinking about how, where Serge, where we go in Saint Christine, sometimes they don't produce one can. You know what I'm saying? They produce a fair number of cans.
Yeah, they produce, I think, somewhere between 180 and 200 gallons a year. So
they're a small-time producer. But if you say, let's just say 200 gallons, I have no idea what a gallon is, by the way. Is it 4 liters to a gallon?
It's 3.78 to a gallon.
Let's round it up to 4. Okay.
Yep.
That's a lot of maple sap.
Let's say about 750 liters.
Right?
Yep.
Right?
Holy crap. For a small time producer. Now,
So
make that an industrial
just,
size producer.
but hold on, just think about that. That means it takes about 30,000 liters to make that 75.
No, 750.
750 liters.
Yep.
30,000. They boil 30,000 liters.
Yep.
They're enslaving those poor trees.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, pretty much.
Shawnee says, Thor, I hear you. I need to buy a mill, I think. Go through lots of yeast, so maybe you need to make sourdough starter. You see, I wish that I was doing stuff like that. I wish that I was making bread. I wish that I had the time to do these things.
Okay,
need the bread.
Maybe not right now, but it's not rocket science to do.
Mark, you're being a brat.
Jeez, I like this, man.
40 kilograms will make 52 loaves. That's still a fair number of loaves.
This is still one a week.
Yeah. So, it's kind of not bad.
It's one per week. It's pretty damn good.
Of course, Thorhaven has sourdough starter.
Yeah. And just a little bit of space in his garden to get 4,000 square feet of wheat ongoing.
Yeah, exactly. Just like, I don't know, whatever. Just a little bit.
Just in the back of the house.
Grace, yes, I'm looking forward to that. It'll be the 4th of March. With European maples like the Norway, I hate, by the way, the Norway maple. This city is full of them. They were planted by Drapo because they were very fast growing. And was it Expo or was it the Olympics?
I think
for one of them.
Expo.
It was
Expo.
The Expo, because for the Olympic, it was the Jinko below the Jinko from China.
Okay, so
one of these right here.
My entire neighborhood was built in 1951. It was all Norway maples. They all grow very fast. They're not extremely long-lived. The one in my front yard is gone and replaced by a sycamore. The guy next door is going to be gone very soon. This entire neighborhood is gradually being flipped over from these stupid Norway maples to actual trees. Because to me, the Norway maple is a weed. It was brought in. It was, it's an invasive species.
Jonathan just said that Norway maple weed.
Yep.
Did he? Okay, because I'm way behind on the chat here.
But I had heard that. I'm not sure if it's true, but what we have on our Canadian money is
not the Norway maple. It is a Pennsylvania maple.
It's a Pennsylvania maple. Okay.
They actually stylize. Jeez.
Stylize. Is that what you're saying?
Stylized?
Stylized.
Stylized? Did it really just take 3 guys to come up with stylized?
And at least one which is French speaking.
And at least one of them was drunk as hell.
And the other one English, but now switching to French.
Right.
Yeah, whatever.
Thorhaven says, I'm going to have to cut a bunch more trees for the 1,000 square feet. Just cut them down. Who cares? Jonathan says, Norway maple weed. Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, Thorhaven, that's not complicated. They're all Norway maple in your neck of the wood, anyway. So,
is the Norway maple what is called the Manitoba maple as well? I would love to know that because I don't think it's the same, but I'm not sure about that.
I don't think it's the same, but the Manitoba maples do grow extremely fast as well.
Are they the ones that are also called, like in the States, they're called boxwood, though?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not the same tree.
No. That's what I was saying. I don't think it isn't, but it does grow extremely fast. I had some in my yard back in the day, and them son of beeps grew extremely fast.
Yeah.
There's Brother Love who showed up with a comment. Good one.
Hold on. I planted a Manitoba maple for privacy. Even here, it grows 4 feet a year. I thought only bull kelp and bamboo grew that fast. Fast growing, man.
At this point, I'm not sure if I would plant either Manitoba maple, Norway maple, or bamboo. It's going to be the same anyway.
Dude, if I'm planting a tree, I want it to be like a birch or see, the thing is, I like the conifers better than the deciduous trees. All my favorite trees, except for one, are coniferous.
Okay, but
but
if I'm planting a tree today, I'm gonna plant an apple tree, a pear tree, a plum tree, anything that gives roots. I want to eat them.
Fair. I'm just tired of the squirrels.
Yeah, well, put sugar maples and get maple syrup. You could eat that.
Yeah.
The thing is, you can also get syrup from the birch, right? Birch water, birch. I mean, it's very Scandinavian, but it's also delicious.
Yeah, it is, but yeah.
He's not convinced, Jess.
I'm not.
I'm telling you the truth, okay? I'm giving you like universal truths here. You can either take the information that I'm giving you or not, but the information is still good. How is that?
Agree to disagree?
Well, you can disagree all you want, but I'm still right.
I'm sure you're not.
But yeah, like I like the birch. It's like the only one of my favorite trees that's not a conifer. I like birch water. Kind of took me a while to get around to it. I'm kind of with Simo on that. It's not the same as maple. But I love the look of it. I love how useful they are.
Yeah.
But I especially love the look of it because there's something about you're looking into a dark forest at like sundown and everything's a freaking fir or a spruce. And then there's like 4 ghostly white lines, in the dying light. To me, that's what the birch is, because that's where I first noticed the birch as, give me a second.
Nicely done.
I'm a professional. But like that's how I first really noticed the birch. Not as a background tree, but as something like, whoa. I was looking across a very small lake. Sun's going down. Like the forest has become pretty much just a dark silhouette, right? And you guys know the silhouette of a coniferous forest, right? Jagged lines, jagged lines. And like you could still see some of the green, but it was really fading to black. And there were like just these 4 ghosts of a white line, like, whew, like kind of together. And that was the moment where I was like, the birch. Yeah, the birch. And ever since then, I've really had a real warm spot in my heart for the birch. And like when you touch them, they almost feel like they give just a little bit.
Well, we had one in our yard when we were kids, and I was always fascinated how the bark was just like paper,
Yeah.
And obviously, being a kid, I was like ripping off the bark. So my parents weren't very happy about that. But there are trees they don't live long,
No, they are not.
Right.
It's I find it's unfortunate because it's like I find they're nice looking trees and
the birch are a pioneer species, but they're not long lived.
And they're not. They're very limpy. They're
Yeah,
just
they're
limps.
yeah, they're not very solid as
Yep. Everything is a branch.
Jonathan here says it says 210 in bomb, but I'm just throwing it up for everyone to read. I have a Norway maple in my front yard. The saplings grow as fast as the dandelions in my grass. Hell yeah. You know what? I'm so glad that Norway maple is gone, because one day, 4 summers ago, I was like, I'm pulling up all the stupid tiny maples growing in my front yard. And I shift you not 364 tiny maple trees out of my front yard,
but
because
why?
they seed twice a year,
Yep.
Okay.
and they seed like a Viking seeds.
Yeah,
It's
but when you
everywhere, and it's unwelcome.
when you pass the lawnmower, don't you like freaking kill them? I mean, the other ones that that really survived, like on my lawn, are the ones that are either growing in the plant pots or in the corners where there's like no grass, or yeah, those ones I used to rip out there, especially the
I ripped them
maniple.
all out. I was like, you know what? This weekend, my lawn becomes maple free, except for the big stupid one. And I just, and that's the thing, lawn mowing them doesn't get rid of them. It just sort of keeps them down.
Yep. So when you have more sapling than grass, that's another problem.
Yeah, that's a good
Thorhaven
point.
says the apples
Mine
and pears
didn't seem
will
to
produce way
survive.
faster than the maples.
Yep.
Which is true. Boom. Yeah. Brother Love is on my side of this. Birch syrup is very tasty too. So you can take that, Simo.
Fair. I still prefer
this is also
maple
fair.
syrup.
Also fair. Legit. Thorhaven also says you can eat the apple and then use the wood for burning or smoking. There's something to apple smoking. Your Sales, do you have like a bunch of whales happening on your TV back there?
Yeah. Apparently, yeah.
He's actually living in the St. Lawrence River, and that's a window straight to the whales.
Actually,
part of me would love to have
not a
like
river; it's a gulf. Sorry.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point.
That's it's the estuary at the end. You're not at the Gulf yet.
Well, no, technically it's salt water.
Yeah.
It's salt water. So that's ocean water.
Yeah, but you're still in the estuary. You're not in the it is still mixing.
Yeah. We'll just agree to disagree.
Zing. Thor. Oh, really? It showed up in YouTube, but not in. Yeah, there we go. Boom. We use some of our apple pruning for smoking our own bacon. So good. Hell yes.
Yep.
I would do the same. Here's the problem, and I've said this a million times, so I'm boring at least half the people who are still here. But in the city of Montreal, I cannot burn solids. I can't really have a smoker. I play the numbers a bit with my barbecue because it runs on charcoal and, let's face it, sometimes wood. But I am dying to get like a big green egg or something to use as a smoker. I want to do like the 13-hour brisket. I want to smoke my own bacon. I want to make jerky. I want Serge and I to go into the woods at Saint Christian there, shoot a video with meat that I have smoked. Oh, you want bacon? Taste this. And Serge wilts in the background. Oh my God, the bacon is so good. Oh my land. I want to make the kind of brisket that makes my entire family wilt on the table. So good. I want to. I love that kind of flavor in scotch, in meat. I love that kind of scent. When I was in elementary school, we went to an old well, now it's been made into like kind of a slick little tiny museum, but there was an old trading post on the Lachine Canal. And when I was a kid, it was still maintained as the old trading post. So you walked in and nothing had changed and it had stuff. Now it's all like museum and it's all been redesigned. It's very, very cool. But walked in there and smelled what a trading post would have smelled like 400 years ago. Smoky, tanned skins and leather. The smell of tallow and like just like an otherworldly smell. Like I remember I opened the door, I walked in, I was like, boom. And I love that stuff. You know, I love the smell of these real old world. I don't want to say solutions, but I love the smell of furs, not of fur coats that have been all sort of dolled up and they've got this like satiny interior. No, I love the smell of furs in a pile. I love the smell of smoked stuff, whether it's smoked meat or smoky whiskey or just the smell of a hut that has been heated by wood firing. I love that stuff.
It makes me think of this weekend, because this weekend I went to the park. What is it? Kiskotuk, I think it's called. Anyway, to get there, there's like a little village, and I'd stopped for a moment, and I was able to smell someone like, because people in that region still uses wood to heat their homes.
Yeah.
And
I was
it's like, yeah, well, I mean, some, like, you know, if you're from the city, you're not used to that.
Yeah,
you don't. So it's but anyway, the smell, the being able to smell the fire like that, I'm like, I mean, I miss having a fireplace, you know.
Yeah,
I lived 8 months now in an apartment, and it was
not
for
the
that,
same.
It's not the same. Yeah, you know, I used to really enjoy making the fires in the backyard, and it's not being able to do that is very difficult. Sorry,
Yeah,
Jess.
fair enough.
Sorry.
Man, shut up. But yeah, it's like we really cheat by having a barbecue that burns solids rather than a gas grill. You know, I don't know if one day Camille and I are going to be doing a little campfire in there and the cops are going to show up, but to me, it's worth it for now. Shawnee says, I really need to learn how to make beef jerky. These days, I make jerky using a dehydrator. I'm not very good at it. I don't think my jerky turns out all that well. Someday I'm going to find someone who's an expert, and I'm just going to say, let's spend 6 hours together and do this. And then I think my jerky will be a whole lot better. Hey, holy crap, Lakes and Hikes is here. How's it going? You're here for like the last 28 minutes. That's fine. Still a lot to say. We got Serge, we got Simon, we got Jesse. 3 guys sitting here in frigid Quebec. Actually, it's not that cold tonight.
No, not today. I was afraid you're going to say SS, actually. Simon and Serge. Sorry. I'm
Thor
stupid.
still heats with mostly wood, hates stacking. You see, the thing is, I like those really tactile, physical things. I used to like chopping wood. Yeah, excuse me.
Yeah, that's another thing I miss too.
Chopping wood.
Yeah, I had fun chopping wood.
Yeah,
I love to hit that wood and just watch. Well, I'm not watching the crack, but seeing the crack, just seeing, like, you know, it's following the grain somehow, you know, and you don't know where it's gonna go till you hit it, you know.
Just popping.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like the feeling of like you're chopping wood and you get one that just pops right, just boom, and it just. But yeah, Lakes and Hikes will rewatch in the tomorrow or whatever to see what he missed.
Yep.
That is fine with me. That's fine with me. Sergio Bro says in the same boat, not loving it in an apartment.
No, I know. But what you want?
Grace, but you really, really want Joanna. Grace says, we're moving right along. We hit 60 degrees freedom here today. So what would 60 freedom be in degrees Canadian?
It's about 15 or 17.
15, yeah.
15 or so. Wow.
Yep.
That's like positively balmy.
Well, right now it's 1.6 centigrade or 35 Fahrenheit right now.
There you go.
Yep.
Yep,
Oh,
at least
In
here.
my neck of the woods, it's -2 Celsius.
-2.
So about 25, 24 Fahrenheit.
Still really nice. Really nice out. Jonathan says heating with wood heats you many times. Cutting, stacking, chopping, carrying, and finally burning. Absolutely. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
That's because, for a couple of months, I've been answering calls from customers in US. Well, back again. So I've made them an investment for my US friends. I got a thermometer in centigrade and another one in Fahrenheit.
In Fahrenheit?
I was tired of converting everything.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Just dropping the invite there for anyone who might want to get on for the last half hour or so. Grace says, whoops, yes, snow is mostly gone, but ground is sopping wet, muddy sponge. And it'll probably, I don't know, Grace, up here, if it gets that warm, it's going to freeze again anyway. You know, we have at least one more deep freeze in our future, I feel.
There's still about a month.
Lakes and Hikes says it's 4 degrees there. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that that's 4 degrees Celsius.
Yep.
Because 4 degrees Fahrenheit would probably be pretty cold.
Yeah, that's like what, -36 or something like
No.
Oh, you know what, guys?
It's -40, which is a bear.
You're right.
No,
Forget about it. Jesse's an idiot. It's 4 C. C means Celsius. For some reason, I read 4 and like a degree sign because I've been drinking 9% beer.
Well, I just thought 4 Celsius was -36, so obviously something didn't compute it in my head there.
Right.
I think that 0 Fahrenheit is -15 Celsius.
Yeah, something like
while
that.
minus 40 is -40.
Yeah.
In both scales.
But
just
not in Kelvins.
Nope.
I don't believe we both went there.
We both
went to the
went
worst
there.
possible place.
Yes.
We both went to the place that shows that neither of us are fun at parties.
Love Kelvin.
You love Kelvin? What?
Oh yeah.
What? Yeah, I love Kelvin.
Good.
You know.
Oh yeah, the good
Absolute zero. That's where I like to be. Absolute zero. Nice.
minus
and chilly.
200. Minus 200.
240.
No, 273.15 Celsius is 0 Kelvin.
So, to those of you hanging out in the side chat, none of us here are fun at parties.
Not at all.
I was about to say, who's Calvin? I didn't know you swung that way, Simo.
Whoa.
Lord Kelvin.
That got awkward pretty fast. But moving right along. Brother Love says, Jesse, do you have any more awesome cocktails ready for us? No. But.
Well, not in this channel.
Not on this channel. I am thinking of revisiting some of my other cocktails, though, because I kind of feel that. Hold on a second here.
Because I kind of feel that we're going to need it anyway.
I kind of feel that I need to rebalance 2 of them at least. Hey, look who's here. Thorhaven. How's it going, mister?
Good, you?
Not too bad. Look at that. You got a mic with a what the hell are these things called?
Spit deflector?
Christ. What the hell are they called? A sibilance? No. I
Hey,
gotta
Lex.
stop drinking on screen because I'm like, yeah, hey, how's it going? I got one of that stuff too, because
One
but
of
yes,
those
nice little
things.
yeah, those things. The hell are they called?
Fart neutralizers. I don't know.
Well, thank you for going there because it means that I'm suddenly not the most embarrassed person on screen right now.
Hey, I gotta make you look good sometimes, right?
Dude, I make myself look good all the time. So, Thor, man, what's up?
Not too much. Not too much.
Jeez.
Just hanging out,
Yeah,
catching
good.
some YouTube lives.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on so that I can maybe stop talking. Hey, by the way, I meant to ask you last time, what's that skin behind you?
That one's caribou.
That's a caribou?
Yeah.
Beautiful animals.
Yeah.
Tasty as hell.
Usually I have the coyote on the back of my chair too,
Okay,
but took it off for now. So
right.
Yeah.
Pop filter.
yes, that's
I'm glad that I salvaged that. I'm not going to rewatch this live after we're done here. I don't think that 9% barley wine really kind of killed me.
and it wasn't that good either from the look of it, eh?
It was garbage. I did not like it. No, I don't like barley wines. I keep trying, and I don't know why I keep trying because there are so many good things to drink in this world. So I may as well just give up. You know. I'm just going to see if there's anyone sort of. Oh, boom, Jonathan, pop shield. So and Mark, pop screen. By the way, guys, it's a pop filter for God's sakes.
I'd say it's a screen.
Pop screen.
Yeah, it doesn't really filter anything, does it?
I don't know because I'm just
popping
assuming
like
it
crazy
does.
now. Well, at least you're not calling it a diaphragm.
True. The diaphragm is inside the microphone.
That's right.
Depending on how it is constructed, but yeah.
Brother
Yeah,
Love
so anyway.
asked, because of course,
Oh,
what is pop? The
Exactly.
chance of precipitation? No, it's not. But for the rest of my life, that's what I'm going to call it. Holy crap! Dennis is here.
It's for if you're speaking moistly.
All the Americans are like, "What?"
What?
All the
Well-
Canadians are like, "Oh God."
Why did you use the word moistly?
Yeah. Speaking moistly. I love how he's like speaking moistly. What an awful image. Moving right along. So welcome to the live stream, Dennis. You had a really cool live stream happening tonight. I didn't, of course, get to see it all, but as usual, I will watch the rest of it tomorrow. I'm just making sure I'm not falling too far behind on the. Yeah, okay. So they're just everyone's saying hi to Dennis. Pop says, "Portraits of people." I just said Pop says. Shut up, Jesse. Cliff says pop equals portraits of people. And, you guys can get as crazy as you want.
and I
But the
agree
only
with
person
Dennis.
here who's right is me. Dennis?
Nope. Dennis.
Pop is soda? Pop
Yep.
is soda. That's an excellent point. Because I do not call it soda because I'm not American or from Toronto. But I don't really drink it anyway, so it kind of doesn't matter. Lakes and Hikes is telling Dennis that he was on his stream for a bit, but had to go. Yeah, it was a good stream tonight. Two great guys on screen. I wasn't there long enough to see if you had a whole bunch of other people on later, Dennis, but Kevin is such a good interview. Like, for those of you who haven't seen Happy Camper, Kevin Callan interviewed either on me or Dennis's channels. he does a really good interview because he's effort free. He's done so many interviews on the CBC and the BBC, and he's been on like a Ray Mears episode, and like he's a pro at being interviewed. He's a pro at being on screen and talking, and he can do the question and answer thing, or he can just go off and start telling you stories. And he's never boring. And he's never... Sometimes he's awkward, but it's kind of not by accident. It's part of the happy camper persona.
Yep.
And so when he's talking, like I'll be like flipping through YouTube videos or something, and I'll see his face pop up, and I'll stop, and I'm gonna watch that one because I do this thing a lot where like I start a video and 3 seconds and I'm like, no, boring, click, find something else. 5 seconds and I'm like, click, and like another one, maybe I make it to 10 or 20 seconds, and I'm just like, for God's sakes, get to the point.
Well,
Click, Kevin, and or even Dennis at this point, now that I've watched enough of Dennis to know what to expect. Or
so 5 second, then click.
It depends, like what I mean, I'm not going to be too stringent about that, but what I mean is like sometimes, I used to do that with TV sometimes, and all three of you have probably done this before, where you're channel surfing. It's like, I just want something to watch, and everything is boring tonight. And I kind of do that still with YouTube. So like I'll click on all the guys or people that I'm used to watching, and I'm not feeling it that night. It's like, maybe I don't want to watch something bushcrafty or survival-y or homesteady tonight. Maybe I want to watch something else.
Yeah, and the logarithm kind of screws that up sometimes. You're like scrolling through stuff. I'm like, okay, it's like, show me something else. Like, get me outside of my comfort zone, kind of thing. It's like,
absolutely,
introduce to me something new. I remember when YouTube used to do that. They used to throw in something random, and you're like, oh, what's this? And then it's like you're discovering something. Now it's just like, let's just keep on focusing on the same thing that you've been watching, and and often whenever I watch anything which is like outside of, let's say I want to show someone a video clip or something on my phone or something, I'm gonna go incognito just so then it doesn't register into the filter, because I don't want to necessarily be watching all this stuff all the time.
Well, in that case, I fundamentally invite you that next time you go on incognito, just click on the whole enchilada of my channel and then go to bed. Yes. I do want to say, I hope, Jonathan, you're not gone yet, but good night. It was really good having you on. Not having you on, but having you in the side chat. You made some really good comments tonight. Really, really good to have you. As usual, good to have you around. So everyone say good night to Jonathan.
Bonsoir, Jonathan.
Cliff is talking to Dennis, not to us. Mark says, enjoy Water Walker at Jonathan Millie. We suggested Water Walker to Jonathan tonight as a movie that he should probably watch. I'm pretty sure Dennis has watched that movie a whole lot. Really not a lot of outside guests tonight. Well, I was going to say that's too bad, but that just means more time with Kevin, and that's not a bad thing at all. Wait. Dennis has been watching arm wrestling and bikini how videos. Obviously, I've been looking for the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, Jonathan says, obviously, before he disappeared, for something different, check out Matt's Off-Road Recovery. Has anyone watched that? Because I don't know anything.
I have.
I have. Yeah? What is it?
Yeah, what is it about?
It is basically a wrecker truck pulling people out of weird places.
That reminds me of, there was a show on Discovery, obviously after Discovery gave up on the whole science thing, of like these highway tow trucks in Alaska where like they were pulling out these semis and stuff.
Is it Highway Through Hell or something like that?
Something.
Whatever.
Song. Yeah.
So basically, this would be guys jacking up their Jeeps and trucks and
Just pulling out.
wrecking them and blowing something and having to get pulled out then from.
Wait, I just want to point something out. Mark says, I've never seen Water Walker myself. Get out of my live stream right now. Gone. Wait. Mark? You got to watch that. Next time you're on the live stream, I want to hear what you thought of it, what your favorite part was, how long it is, who directed, who edited, and who did the music. Seriously, I can't believe you haven't seen it, man.
But I'm sorry to oppose this, Jesse, because I'm still waiting on Mark to finish the first Elvis Graton.
Really? Most of the people watching ain't going to know what you're talking about, so we're going to move on, but we're going to talk about that later. Hey, Adam. How's it going, Adam? You sort of dove in for the last 10 minutes. It's fine, better late than never. Nice to see you in the side chat. We're having a fairly live conversation tonight. Live? What? Shut up, Jesse. We're having a fairly lively conversation tonight. I don't know what went wrong there. Anytime we have alcohol on screen is a lively conversation. Not as lively as apparently Mal was last time she was on screen.
I heard some stories.
I did as well, but that live stream is private, so I can't verify. It's good to be on this live stream though, because I really find like some weeks I'm like, if I can just get to the live stream, the week will be fine. And the live stream's only on Tuesdays. So there's gonna be some rough weeks, but I find that I love doing this, guys. Dennis loves doing this too. You can tell, man, just by watching his stuff. I hope, by the way, that when I mentioned Dennis or Canoe Hound, all of you know who I'm talking about. All of you have seen at least a couple of his live streams. If you haven't, do yourselves a favor.
Hang yourself.
I watch his stuff every week. I watch it the next day or 2 days later or something. I watch every week. Grace says, I heard rumors too. I think everyone's heard rumors. It's kind of too bad she couldn't be with us tonight. She was guesting on some preppers live stream tonight. So I said, that's okay. I'm not hurt. I'm not hurt.
You're not hurt, but you are.
I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. I made you a mod. But yeah, I'll check out that guy's channel too. Because I find, I talked about this at the very beginning, how I would love to know, those of you who've been watching the whole time, I'd love to know how many prepper channels there are versus survivalist channels versus homesteader channels versus bushcraft channels. And because so many prepper or survivalist channels get so political, I just don't spend my time.
Wrangler start. Wrangler start.
Well, I'm not going to mention any freaking names, but see, that's a channel I used to watch all the time when he was working on axes and doing hand tools and stuff like that. And if he pops up in my stream and there's still like a hand tool thing, I'm going to watch it. If it's an AR thing, I'm not going to watch it. If it's a dirt bike thing, I'm not going to watch it. If he's getting political and churchy, I'm not going to watch it. But he still does occasionally put out what I consider to be classic Wrangler Star videos. Working on an axe, using a hand tool, building something. I'm so put off of politics because of how social media has enabled what I like to call the recreationally outraged. People who are just, I got to cancel someone this week or it's not a good week. Do you know what I'm saying? And yeah. I don't want to get political about it. And I don't want to dive too deep into this, but I had a
It's-
realization a couple of years ago that I have fewer days ahead than I had behind me. So there's a lot of stuff that I'm not going to waste my time with anymore. And that's part of it.
Well, good night, guys.
So obviously Simone knows what I'm talking about, and he's being a great big shark about it. But do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to go, I don't go online looking for someone to stoke my outrage anymore. Like, it's easy to fall into that.
I used to a lot. I got away from it.
A lot of people have. And I just don't have the time. I don't have the energy, and I just don't want to. It's in the same way as for a long time. Look, okay, I'm coming at you as someone who used to own his inner arsehole, okay, and who used to really rip people with or without reason, you know? But like, I don't ever reach out on another YouTuber's video and say something mean. I don't even necessarily give constructive criticism anymore. I only want to be the guy who reaches out and gives positivity these days. I only want to make a helpful comment. So if I'm a slightly if I give a slight criticism, it's because I want this person to succeed. Because I'm so damn tired of how the online world breeds negativity. This is not bushcraft related. I'll just finish up my thought though. So that really colors the way I interact with, like, I only watch people who I want to see, right? I support the people I want to succeed and whose stuff I enjoy. I ignore those who I don't like. You know, I'm not going to watch Patriot Nurse or whatever her name is. I used to hate watch her. I'm not hate watching anymore. I'm not leaving nasty comments. I'm done with it. I'm done with it because at the end of the day, everyone is living their own personal hell. And I think that it's better to leave someone, it's better to watch someone like Dennis, who's here, or Mal, or Joe Robinette, who some of his videos are too long for me, but maybe I'll watch them over like 3 days kind of thing. I want to spend time living vicariously through the people I want to succeed, and the people I enjoy talking to, and the people who I think make the world a little better just by existing, just by doing what they do. And I don't want to spend my energy reaching out and saying, funk you, to the people who I don't like. How did I get on this boring ass subject?
So the math on that 1,000 square foot wheat field is correct, right?
Yep, it is.
Okay. That's
So
good.
we all just need 1,000 square feet.
Yeah, I just figure out where to put it now, cut down a few trees, and
I would like 1,000 square feet. Unfortunately, my wife put in a pool in our backyard.
Well, you can always do some hydroponic wheat.
Wheat.
Yeah.
Wheat.
Just surround the pool with wheat. You know,
Just get the accent in there.
A good visual block.
Try not to get demonetized.
Too late. Too late.
Has a T at the end.
That's not a D. It's a T. And tea is a good drink.
Oh, Dennis, watch that wild stream. That wild stream. I just called it a wild stream. But yeah, I would like to have seen that. I miss all the good stuff. I just don't have time to watch enough. You know, Mark says Bruce Coburn and Hugh Marsh did the music. Are we back to Water Walker?
Yep.
Because I think I remember Bruce Coburn did the music for that. Oh man, this is getting epic. I wish I'd seen that. It's funny that you brought up Lorena McKenna, because I have a lot of Lorena McKenna in my collection. I'm just sort of trying to bandwagon hate is convenient, contagious, and dangerous. Bingo, bro. Bingo. Oh yeah, and that's Buckin. I guess that's Buckin Billy Ray says it's all about the love. That statement is a little more sort of kumbaya than I consider myself, but I feel that the meaning is correct. And it's weird how when I was a young guy, I really didn't feel this way at all. But now that I'm old and frail and old,
Old and broken.
maybe a little
And fat.
broken, and fucking fat. Guys, why did you let me do that? But like, it's weird how, I did an episode on this a long time ago, and 2 people watched it, so it's probably like Serge and Simon. But I was talking about how like I often say how when I was a young guy, I used to own my inner arsehole, and what I mean is I was shite. It's 11 o'clock. Let me finish this story. One day I'm walking down the street, and I was the type of guy who would go for the wit, even if it was a little kind of iffy, right? And so I'm walking down the street with a friend. Serge, you looked at your TV. I'm not going to be boring, I promise.
I was looking at the clock here. It's not 11 on my clock yet.
Yeah. Oh, it's not 11 on your clock. We're going by
Yeah.
Serge's clock here, guys, because it'll give me the time to finish the story. So I'm bipping down the street with a friend of mine, and I'm saying stupid, funny things, and he's saying stupid, funny things back. And there's a fairly rotund woman walking this way. I don't mean she was like 800 pounds of hot burning love, but I mean she was fairly heavy. And being Quebecois, she was wearing a very tight pair of jeans because, of course. And so, as she's walking by, I turn to my friend and say, "Hey, I didn't know you could fit 2 arses into 1 pair of jeans." Ha, 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 ha. But she heard me, right? And she turned back, and I turned back, and I was like, okay, she's pissed off. Let's do it. But she wasn't pissed off. She was hurt. And I felt that my entire, in that, poof, right there, zing, everything changed for me. It's like, wow. Because if someone ever turned to me and was like pissed off and was like wanted to have the argument, I'm like, okay, we can do this. But I was not mature enough to deal with someone being hurt by something I'd said.
Yeah.
And ever since, like, whenever I have the instinct to sort of go for that cheap laugh or that really bitchy, because come on, what the hell? What did she ever do to me? Why did I say that? Because I was looking for the laugh from the guy who was in the same headspace as me and was probably looking at her and trying to come up with something. It's not worth it.
No.
It's not freaking worth it.
And you have these defining moments too. It's like, in your case, it was this woman.
I have 2 very defining moments. One started me on the road to bushcraft. One started me on the road to, for God's sakes, try not to be an asshole every single day, Jesse. And I fail that sometimes.
Yeah, as you're doing it.
But like, I don't revel in it the way I used to,
Yeah, you were pretty bad at one point.
I was terrible. And in fact, you knew me, and you're still talking to me for some stupid reason. But it was, around then when this moment happened, and I don't remember who I was walking with. But good night, Dennis. See you next time. Elizabeth Ike says, "You should go by my time. It's only 8 p.m. here." Are you kidding me? I gotta work tomorrow. I gotta finish the dishes before I go to bed, for God's sakes. But yeah, so it's 11:03 my time with that really dull ass story. I say good night. I thank you for, by which I mean us for. I thank myself and my friends. Shut up, Jesse, for showing up on screen. Mr. Thor, we got to get more of your stories happening, because the last time you were on, you told some cool ones. Thanks to everyone who hung out with us in the side chat. Thanks to everyone who's been on screen. It was actually a lot of fun tonight. I hated the beer. I'm not going to buy that again. The whiskey is okay. So between now and next week, please stay safe, stay healthy, be kind to one another, and I will see you next week.